Hello, and welcome to the Media Center's 11th Local Hero Award Series, in which we showcase 6 people from the Mid-Peninsula for outstanding achievement or contributions to the community. We solicited nominations and were especially looking for the unsung heroes. Each winner is an inspiration and each has a great story to tell. What makes a great teacher? What's the secret to a successful school, especially when dealing with a population not generally associated with academic excellence? Whatever it is, CHRIS Bischof seems to have discovered and harnessed it at Eastside Prep in East Palo Alto. In 1976, East Palo Alto's only high school closed, and the students had to be bused 20 miles away to attend school, leading to devastating outcomes. 20 years later, Chris and a Stanford classmate were determined to reverse this trend and founded Eastside at a picnic table with only 8 students. Today it has 280 students, over 550 graduates, and a remarkable track record. All students are on a full scholarship. 100% of the annual budget is raised from private donations and grants, and a full 100% of its graduates have been admitted to 4-year colleges. Give me a portrait or a sketch, if you will, of your students, in particular with respect to some of the challenges that they face that you might not have been aware of, or a lot of people might not have been aware of.
Yeah, many of our students come from very challenging situations. Their families are struggling to make their ends meet financially, and that can weigh heavily on our students. For example, they may live in really crowded living situations where there's not really space and quiet to either get work done or to be able to focus in the evenings. In other cases, their parents have to work many jobs or maybe working the evening shifts, so when the students are home that they can't be there at the same time. And so that really can be really challenging on a day-to-day basis, and it can increase kind of the stress levels for students. And so I think that's what many of our students encounter on a day-to-day basis.
What do you have at your school that meets those challenges or deals with them that they might not be able to find in, let's say, a public school?
I think one of the factors that distinguishes our school is just the level of support that we offer our students on a day-to-day basis. It starts with our extended school day that goes from 8 to 5 p.m. every day, and we actually keep our computer labs open until 10 p.m. every night. So if you were to come to our campus on any weeknight at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, you would see a large percentage of our students there. And then 10 years ago, we actually opened our boarding program, where we actually have now a significant number of students living on campus, and that's been a great addition to the school.
Is there anything about, let's say, your student-teacher ratio?
We have, our class sizes are relatively was similar to many other schools, about 20 to 1. But I think, I think the school size is small enough where we can provide lots of support for each and every student. I think it's really important that every student knows every teacher and vice versa. And so for us, it's very important that students have a connection with some adult on campus that they can feel connected to and feel supported by.
And how do you bring that about? I can see leaving facilities open longer, but it's much more than that. Mm-hmm. How do you foster that kind of thing?
It's really, we've tried to create a family-like atmosphere. And in fact, many of our students refer to it as Eastside Family, not the Eastside School. And I think that's one of the reasons why students feel so good about spending so much time on campus year-round. And I think they feel really good about the support they receive from each other, but also from the teachers and staff who are there to support them each day.
And how do you do? I mean, this seems magic. How do you manufacture it?
It starts with, we have some wonderful teachers and staff members who are so invested in helping our students achieve their goals and dreams of becoming the first in their families to go to college. And then you have just an environment where the more time students spend on campus, the more connected they become. And even before we started our residential program, so many of our students would joke around saying, all we need to do is bring our pillow and we could sleep here, because they spend so much time here on a day-to-day basis. And
they say that not grudgingly, but delighted.
No, delighted, yeah. So I think our students really see it as a real positive place to be, and that they feel well supported, and despite the fact that they're working very hard, they feel like they are sharing the same path as their peers and gaining lots of support from their teachers.
What about discipline? Is that a problem?
I think with any school, we have our share of discipline issues, but I think for generally speaking, our students really appreciate the opportunity to be at the school. And I don't think students don't want to jeopardize their spot there. And I think we just have a wonderful group of students who are just really positive and really trying to work hard to achieve this goal.
Well, so I think of the atypical high school student who just isn't motivated, would just rather be outdoors playing soccer or whatever, or basketball. What do you do about those students?
Well, I think one of our biggest challenges is just to continue to motivate students to work hard on a daily basis. Because as you said, I mean, most high school students would prefer doing many other things than studying or working hard as part of this rigorous college prep curriculum. And so I think for us, first of all, it's been important to have a balance between the core curriculum and the extracurricular activities that we can offer students. And we now have a wide array of activities, from sports to the arts to speech and debate to computer science, that lots of opportunities that students can become very excited about participating in. So I think part of it is that.
I'm thinking about maybe even your teaching approach or philosophy, because I think education is kind of it can be a large and ill-defined subject because it's many things to many people. So you will read about one school that attributes its phenomenal success to reading and writing and structure, from which creativity and self-enlightenment, all that will follow. You'll get another school that says you have to begin with the motivation, the kind of personal self-acceptance and the joy of learning, and then the facts will follow. Where are you on that spectrum, for example?
I don't think we fit neatly into either bucket. I think for our main philosophy has really been to set high expectations for students and then couple that with lots of support so that students can be successful in meeting those expectations. And so, for us, it's, all of our students participate in this rigorous college prep curriculum. They're all going to be prepared to head off to, four-year colleges across the country. But it's also important that we provide lots of support. And again, it starts with that extended school day. We have built-in tutorial periods as part of that day, each day, where students can gain help from teachers outside of class. And again, that really develops the connection between students and teachers, but also provides the opportunity for students to get help on a daily basis. And then 10 years ago, we went to year-round schooling. So we now have summer session, and students are in school year-round to continue to move forward on this path to college.
So it sounds like the significant difference between you and a good public school really is, if not teacher-to-student ratio, it's teacher hours with students.
Yes, I think there's a tremendous amount of time that students and teachers spend together, both inside and outside of the classroom. And I think if you ask both our students and teachers, they really value that time outside of the class together.
I'd like to talk to you about something almost as ill-defined as education itself, and that is measuring success. First of all, what are some measures of success that you have?
So we measure success based on a couple of key metrics. The first is our college matriculation rate, that for 17 years in a row, 100% of our graduating seniors have been admitted to four-year colleges. And then beyond that, and most importantly, is what are students doing in college and how are they doing in college? And so we have currently 80% of our graduates are either enrolled or have already received their bachelor's degree from college. And so I think that's another really important metric, and something that we've learned along the way, that it's important not just to get students to college, but more importantly, successfully through college.
So it does sound like you've had incredible success rates. Could that not be attributed to the fact you've described them as motivated? Is there a self-selection bias that if you only pick the motivated students, they're going to do well?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think our students in many ways select Eastside as much as we select the students. We don't have any entrance exams or for students to be admitted. We don't have any cutoffs for grades or test scores. So we're not selecting students based on academic achievement, but rather for students who are going to be the first in their families to go to college, and students who want to be part of the Eastside and ready to work hard to achieve their goal.
Well, it's interesting. You have chosen not to weigh probably the two of the biggest predictors of success. Kids whose parents have been to college and kids who test well. And you're looking at neither. Are you making life harder for yourself?
It does mean that we serve a wide range of students and their academic backgrounds each year. And so, every year, it's the reason why we need to provide these multiple layers of support so that each and every student who attends Eastside can have a good chance of being successful and head off to college.
Now, you said that earlier when we were talking before, you said that over the years, your views on what the students need have changed. And what has that translated into?
Well, I know that I was very naive when we started the school. I thought that we could just get all of our students into college and we could consider our job done. And what we've come to realize is that our job is far from done upon high school graduation day, and that we need to continue to support our students as they go through college and beyond.
What happens to a lot of these kids once they get into college?
Yeah, because our students are the first in their families to go off to college, college is a brand new experience for them. And it's very easy for them to get derailed from continuing on and earning their college degree.
What kind of hardships do they face? And what sort of numbers are we talking about?
Well, yeah, so it's, again, I was very naive until I looked at some of the national figures. And nationally, only 11% of first-generation college students who make it to college will actually earn their degrees within 6 years. Just 11%. And so it's really staggering statistic, really sad statistic, and I think there's just so many challenges that students face. I think any student from any socioeconomic level can experience challenges that first year in college. They may have a difficult roommate, they may not do as well on their first set of midterms, they may be homesick, but when those students call home, the expectation is, I'm going to stay in college, and their parents are there to support them and figure out a way to make it work. For our students, they may call home, and if they sound miserable, parents may say, hey, why are you staying in college? Come back home, we'll make sure that you're happy, and maybe you can also get a job and help support the family. And so I think there's a very different dynamic at play between maybe students who've had the experience of family members who've gone off to college and others who haven't, or maybe students whose families have more resources financially, that there isn't such a stress on the family otherwise.
So your school currently serves what ages?
So we're currently right now grades 7 through 12.
And you have, as a result of kind of coming upon this discovery of what happens when they get to college, you have you've extended it to include helping them while they're at college. I don't know of any other school. Is there any other school that does that?
I think there's more awareness now by some schools or organizations that how important it is to continue to support students at the high school level, but it's difficult for most schools to do. And again, we really have broadened the scope of our mission of the school to make sure, again, that students are successfully getting through college and earning their degrees. And it's an important part of what we do now. We have a whole alumni support team that works with students in college to help them navigate their path through college and also to make the most of their college experience so they'll be well prepared for careers after college.
What about, is it too early to see if there are any results from this college support?
Well, I think it's been wonderful to see how students are embracing the support and making the most of the college experience. As I mentioned earlier, that 80% of our students are either currently enrolled and on track to earn their degrees or have already earned their degrees. And compared to those national figures, we feel pretty good about those numbers, but of course we want to continue to improve those outcomes. And then looking beyond college, we've really spent more and more time making sure that our students are transitioning successfully into professional careers. And our current numbers are that 83% of our students have secured a professional job within 6 months of graduation.
Well, I think it's pretty well known that higher incomes are associated with college degrees, and there are many more jobs opening up that require college degrees. But do you ever feel that there's a little bit of the Palo Alto imposing its standards on East Palo Alto, which is to say, college, college, college? What about those for whom college isn't a good fit or isn't the right fit?
Yeah, I think college may not be the right fit for everyone, but at the same time, we want to make sure that our students have the same opportunities that students from Palo Alto or any other community might have. And I think that the concern that we've had and that we've shared with many people in the community is that for an 8th grader going into high school, you want to make sure that they have the opportunity to still be on the path to go to college. And at some point in time, if they make the choice to take a different path, you can respect that, but you want to make sure that choices aren't being made for students or being eliminated for students before they even set foot on a high school campus. And so for us, it's really important that all of our students are on a path where they at least have that opportunity and to continue on.
Do any of your students actually come to you and say, I really want to be a tradesperson? I've thought about it. College isn't for me.
You know, generally, I think there's such a strong college-going culture on our campus that students are coming there to want to go on to college, even if that may seem like an abstract concept to them. Now, when students get to college, you know, most of our students are being very successful on their campuses and earning their degrees, but other students find at some point in time that maybe there's an alternative route that can that they can be more happy with and more successful in, and so we've tried to help students along that path as well.
Now, you know these students really well. What blows me away is that you live there. So you know them about as well as you possibly can. What most surprises you or gives you the most respect for these students?
Yeah, well, I have so much respect for each and every one of our students, and you know they're really working hard. They're you know, again, choosing a path that's very different from most of their peers in the community. There's a lot of unknowns out there, and yet they're working hard to somehow work hard to achieve something for themselves and their family members. And it's amazing to see that, you know, the pride that they have in terms of trying to become a trailblazer in their own family, but also to create opportunities for themselves and their family members as well.
Are there any kind of personal moments that stand out that you can say, wow, this is why I do what I do?
Well, I feel like I'm one of the luckiest people in the world, because every day there's some, you know, great moment and that reminds you of why it's so important and why you're so happy in what you're doing. And but I think my favorite day of the year is always our graduation day, and it really is so clear on that day about how meaningful the experience is for all of the students and their families heading off to college, becoming the first in their families to go off to college, and what that means for the entire family.
If you are giving them, among other things, resilience, and if pushed, somebody asked you, what is the key to resilience? What's your answer?
Well, if I had the answer for that, I think I could solve a lot of issues, but and I think resilience for our students, first of all, I think it starts with knowing that they're well supported, having a connection to you know, adults on campus who really care about them, who really invested in their success as individuals, as students. That really inspires students to continue to work hard and feel supported in doing so. And then I think also we try to do everything we can to help students find their passion, whether it be, you know, in one of their field of studies in high school or in college, or some type of activity that would make them want to pursue, you know, work hard to achieve that goal.
There's something that fairy tale-ish about this whole story. What's been the hardest thing that you've ever done?
Well, as we say, there's never a dull moment, and so I think every day brings lots of challenges and keeps it exciting. But I think you know, our first year had to be the biggest challenge. You know, if you can picture a school that didn't exist, you know, we didn't have a campus or even a building to call our own, so it was a challenge to say the least. And you know, our students had to take a tremendous leap of faith with us to just be part of this school that didn't exist. And so, you know, that was a real challenge.
Looking back, would you ever have it? What were your expectations and how were they met?
Well, when we started the school, we always hoped that it would turn into something like it is today, but there were so many ifs and so many question marks. What we knew was that we were going to, those of us who helped to start the school and continued on, we're going to do everything in our control to make it work. But you know, there's no guarantees, and you know, I think it really has been a team effort from day one, with students, teachers, staff, supporters, all working together to make the school what it is today.
For you personally, what does it do?
To me, it's just really inspiring to see. I mean, our students inspire me every day, both our students, our graduates, seeing what our students are doing, you know, after school, after college, and in their adult lives is really, really rewarding, and it's inspiring to me, and I think it helps inspire the current students on our campus.
Excellent. Well, keep growing. Keep it up. Thanks for coming, and congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
Do you know someone who has overcome significant hardship and has an inspiring story to tell? Someone who has sacrificed or given over and above to the community and deserves some recognition? If so, please contact us with your nomination for next year's Local Hero Awards. To find out more about our local heroes and to watch interviews with all of the winners, visit our website, midpennmedia.org. At the Mid-Peninsula Community Media Center, you can make your own videos and television programs and take classes in all aspects of media production. You can also hire our professional services team. To find out more about that, go to mcproservices.com. Congratulations to all our winners, and thank you for watching.